Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. Today I'm excited to discuss a topic that I think is very apropos for the time and place we are in right now. In the state of Utah, United States, which is where I am, we are on week 3 of our quarantine, and I'm seeing a lot of people take some unhealthy actions to avoid their life in the situation that we are in now. So I want to talk about that today because while you may not be familiar with the terminology, I guarantee you're familiar with at least one of these 6 actions, and you probably have done one of them in the last 3 weeks or the last set amount of time while in quarantine. And I want to highlight these actions because they are an unhealthy actions that we take to avoid our lives. Because here we are in quarantine, and there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration. There may even be some anger, some stress, all these emotions that we don't like to deal with and we want to push away. So we use these actions to avoid our life and those emotions. So if you are a longtime listener of the show, you may be familiar with the 6 emotional buffering actions that people take because I've spoken about this in the past. But if you are new to the show, tune in. If you're a longtime listener, tune in again because guarantee you've probably done one of these 6 actions in the last 3 weeks or however long your quarantine has been lasting. And the reason I share this is because if we know the actions we're taking that are helping us avoid our life, now we have the awareness and can make the conscious decision to not do those actions and to do something else instead that helps us healthily work through our emotions and step into our life. Because I don't know how long this is going to go. See so many people looking back and wishing it was that way, and so many people wishing forward, wanting to get through this. When this is done, I'm going to do this. When this is done, I'm going to do this. And I'm not saying having a vision for what your life looks like when coronavirus is done is a bad thing, not at all. But what I am seeing is that so many people are looking back and so many people are looking forward that they're not paying attention to the here and now. And there's a lot of growth and learning that can come from this moment here, right now, if we stop emotionally buffering, if we stop those unhealthy actions that keep us stagnant and help us avoid life, as opposed to taking positive action and taking this time to really learn and grow. And when we come out on the other side, be so much more empowered versus being like, phew, okay, great. Now I can go back to my normal life when normal life is probably not going to be the same. I'm just going to put that out there. No, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not an economist. I'm not a doctor or any of those things, but I do think life is going to change after this. And for all those people who are thinking it's not going to, and just putting your head in the sand and doing these actions, you're not going to come out on top on this. So what I want to do is highlight these actions for us today so that we can make the conscious choice whether we want to do them or not. Not saying that they can't be done. That's a choice for you. But if you don't know that they're there, you can't consciously make that choice. So that said, what are the 6 ways that we like to emotionally buffer? First and foremost, and I think the most popular at this point in time, is binge watching TV. When we take television or movies or things like that, and we move past entertainment to excessive and to a very convenient excuse to not focus on anything else. Oh, I can't do that right now. I need to finish this series. I don't want to focus on my emotions. I don't want to pay attention to these things. So I'm just going to invest in somebody else's life via television and just binge watch the crap out of that and just let days of my life pass by because I don't want to focus on my emotional management. I just want to ignore it and look at somebody else's life. And television is all about drama. So you're like, oh, my life's dramatic, but theirs is way more, and I can get into theirs and not have to focus on working through mine. Right? So excessive television binging, overwatching, whatever you want to call it. And that's something I've seen so much of. I can't tell you how many people have mentioned to me Tiger King and how they've watched the entire series in a day or in a weekend. And I'm like, what else did you do that weekend? Oh, nothing. I just watched that. I'm like, okay, what emotions are you trying to avoid right now? And that's the true question. What emotions are you trying to avoid right now? What don't you want to deal with and you're trying to escape? Because the more days that pass where you are over consuming television or any of these others that are in the list, the more days that pass in your life, and the more you suppress those emotions, and the harder it will feel mentally, like it is to actually work through those emotions, which is not really the truth, but our brain thinks it gets harder and harder the more we push it off. And then we end up stuck and stagnant and living in the worry, the stress, and the fear, and trying to escape those emotions by continuing to overwatch and binge on TV. So that's the first action, the most popular. Second most popular is ever scrolling. So I'm just gonna take 15 minutes and check in on my Facebook, and 3 hours later, you're like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do this, this, and this, but now I gotta go to bed. And when you get in bed and you get back on your phone, that is you trying to escape looking at other people's lives, other people complaining, other people sharing things, and not having to focus on yours. Same concept as watching TV. But if you start finding yourself in an ever scroll, consider why. What are you trying to avoid in your own life? Number 3, over gaming. Whether it's games on your phone, Candy Crush, Disney Emoji Blitz, any others. I think there's so many others that you could pick from. But whether it's a game on your phone or Fortnite or Red Dead Redemption or whatever other games you may be playing via console, streaming, what have you, if you are putting in huge amounts of time and it takes you past entertainment and moves you to excessive and excuses, that is when you are using it to avoid your life. Number 4, excessive eating. Now, I think we all know this feeling. I know I definitely do. Going and standing in front of the fridge, opening it up, staring into it, wishing that something new had popped up from 5 minutes ago when I checked 5 minutes ago, and wanting to feel full so I don't feel my negative emotions. If you find yourself eating a lot more and going to the fridge out of boredom and out of not wanting to feel your emotions, overeating, excessive eating, that can be a sign that you're trying to avoid your life. Now, the next 2, depending on your levels, may or may not correlate for you. But excessive drinking. That doesn't mean that you're an alcoholic, but if you need a drink to take the edge off, ask yourself, what's the edge you're trying to take off? And can you work through that edge and these emotions that are associated with it so that you can then move forward instead of pushing and stagnating and actually going backwards? The last one is excessive drug use, right? If you're trying to escape to an alternative reality, it's probably a sign that you're trying to avoid your life. Now, in times of coronavirus, there's so many things happening and changing, but it's such an opportunity to learn and to grow if we can highlight that list of 6 things and go, am I doing any of these? And I'm not saying you have to stop. That's not the point of this podcast. The point of this podcast is to help you make decisions to help you be happier in your life. And if you're avoiding your emotions, might be an indication, if you're doing any of these 6 actions, might be an indication you're avoiding your life and you don't believe you're capable of happiness abound. And my job is to remind you that you are capable of happiness abound and to help you make the decisions to help you get there. So that's what I have for you today. Now, if you want to learn, that's the actions. If you want to learn how to clear those negative emotions, I have a worksheet. You can go to happinessabound.com, go to the very, very bottom. In the bottom footer, there will be a word that says clear. You click on that, fill out the form, and I will send you a worksheet that outlines all 6 of the actions that are unhealthy and helping you avoid your life, as well as a clear method that you can walk through, learn about to help you understand your situations, gain more emotional management, take actions, and get results that help you learn and grow during this tumultuous time. So that's what I have for you. If this episode resonated with you, please let me know. You can find me at happinessabound.com, Happiness Abound blog on Facebook, happiness_abound on Instagram, and please rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast listening platform of choice. That said, have a wonderful day. Stop taking those 6 actions if you can and if you want to. And above everything else, remember, you are capable of happiness abound.